time we finished When the Night Comes, which is one of my favorite visual novels, and we'll be playing through another favorite of mine, which is Andromeda 6. This is a sci-fi visual novel that is released on itch.io. It's only up to 6 out of 10 chapters so far. It has a Steam page, but it won't be on Steam until it's the full game is released. I believe once it's entirely released, the developers will be going back, just tidying everything up, maybe adding a few new features, and will release on Steam there. But yeah, as of right now, it is up to Chapter 6. There was just a patch for Chapter 6 release only a couple days ago. So yeah, I thought I would play from the beginning. I played this game a lot, and gone through all of the different routes, and sorry, something outside startled me. Yeah, I've done all the different routes, but for this playthrough, we will be going through the non-romance routes and experiencing the game through there. But yeah, I am excited to dive into this. I'm just bringing up Steam Stream Manager on my tablet beside me. Okay, we're good to go. So yeah, we will be playing through. I don't know how long it's gonna go. We'll either be doing just chapter 1 or chapter 1 and chapter 2 based on how long I can play for. But yeah, as with that, try and get ready. Okay, I think I might turn the music down just a little bit more. No, that's the gallery. Just a little bit, just because I know my mic's not good. But yeah, we will start a new game. Also, if you want to see my insane amount of, I have stuff for every single route, and I have them saved so I can keep in mind who I'm romancing and everything there. But yeah, this will also not be a spoiler-free playthrough. There will definitely be spoilers. If you want to check out the game for yourself, I absolutely recommend that you do so. It is totally free, with there are some optional paid DLCs, which I will not be playing through here because I believe the creators have asked for people not to play them on stream and stuff. And if you really want to, you should absolutely get them out because it supports them directly, and you get very sweet content as well. Yeah. So yeah, we will start. So, okay, photosensitive, epilepsy, seizures. That you should read that. Make sure you are safe. All right, and we will be playing my character, who I created for this game. Their name is Solaris, and yeah, and they use they/them pronouns, and they are human. So there are you can choose different species. So there are the Solari, which are a gentle and intelligent alien race dedicated to their medical studies and nurturing way of life, and the Catalfin. We're gonna go with that. Catalfin? Yeah, sure. The person who has a bad time pronouncing things plays a sci-fi game. Ooh. A humanoid race gifted with the ability to live both on land or water. This unique species easily adapts to their chosen habitat. You see like little gills show up there. Oh, stars, very cute. And then human, the most populous of all species, renowned for their scientific advances and engineering. There are different types of species as well. Throughout, there's also Arcanos, which are like lizard people. We meet one of them sort of later on, and there's also like cyborgs and stuff. But yeah, Solaris is a human. Episode 1, Error 404. My eyes crack open slowly, one and then the other. Let's take a look at our sort of empty, sad little room. There's heaviness that settled behind them, and I squint as they adjust the fluorescent lights hanging overhead. With a low groan, I manage to push myself up on my elbows, surveying my surroundings clumsily. A small room, metal walls, a desk, 2 closed doors. It's been shoved into a closet. A couple of empty crates sit stacked in one corner, and overall, the room gives off the impression of being unused. No personal belongings, no decoration, it's all quite bare. I panic for a moment, my mind racing through all the possible reasons there could be to explain my being here in this place I don't recognize, with no memory of how I got here. Am I in a cell? It does look like a prison cell. I might have been captured. I push myself into a sitting position, my body feeling like an entire building has fallen on it. The mattress beneath me, although soft enough to be comfortable, does nothing to soothe the ache that has settled in my muscles. My eyes flick over to the small room once again, eyebrows dipping in confusion. There's something else. A whirring. I feel it almost as much as I hear it. Is the room moving? We're in space, baby! We're on a spaceship! Look outside! My breath sticks in my throat, panic and confusion rising in me like a wave. Where the hell am I? And why can't I remember anything? The door opposite me hisses and shifts, sliding back into the wall as it opens, and something in me turns defensive, pulls my knees up to my chest. Oh, I didn't know you were awake. What if I gave him a Texan accent? No, I don't think I can keep that up. The man that enters the room is so tall his head almost touches the top of the door frame. Apologies, I should have knocked. He offers me a tight smile, and the metal chair beneath the desk scrapes across the floor as he pulls it out, sitting and leaning forward with his arms rested on his knees. How are you feeling? He looks at me expectantly, and though I refuse to let my guard down so easily, an answer escapes me anyway. I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm definitely not, suffering memory loss and hurting everywhere. It's fine. I look the man over from his gentle half smile to his casual posture. Also, thank God, of all the crew members we could have met, honestly, thank God it was June 1st. I mean, plenty of them are very nice, but he's a good, easy intro. My gaze falls nervously upon the pistols strapped to his body, but there's nothing in his demeanor that suggests he intends them to use them. He certainly doesn't look like he's here to harm me. I think I'm fine. Thanks. I'm glad to hear that. So I squint when he smiles at me, and I find myself thinking there's something I like about them. Something warm. Oh. I was worried about you after... His eyes flicker a little, almost though he would take back those words if he could. After what? What happened to me? Strange, handsome man. The awkward silence that follows is noticeable, his hesitation hanging thick in the air. Something happened. Something big, and somehow, I can't remember what. Though even in the face of such uncertainty, one thing is abundantly clear. Whether I can trust the man in front of me or not, I need answers. Okay. Where am I? Where am I? This place doesn't seem familiar. He hesitates only moments before something unseen inside him shifts. You're on board the Andromeda 6. Yeah, that's the name of the game, you guys. I'm June, by the way. The Andromeda 6. Doesn't ring a bell. I understand now that it's a spaceship, but I don't recall ever being here before. I take a deep breath to calm myself, but it doesn't help much. And you are... I open my mouth to tell him, but stop short when no memory of my name surfaces. Who am I? I have a name. I feel it there on the tip of my tongue, but every time I reach out, it escapes me. I'm not sure. June frowns, and I can't keep the worry from bubbling up inside me. I should be able to remember something as simple as my own name. Closing my eyes, I try to coax a memory to the forefront of my mind. I can feel it lingering on the edge of my thoughts, and I know it's close, hidden behind the mist in my mind. Nothing. I can't remember. My throat tightens at the realization. Not knowing where I am is one thing, but not knowing my own name. All the names that cross my mind feel foreign, not one of them standing out as mine. Panic begins to crawl into my lungs, contracting my throat, leaving me gasping for breath. Hey, don't panic, look at me. June pulls his chair closer to the bed, his eyes locked on mine. He takes a deep breath in through his nose, releasing it slowly through his mouth. With a hand, he gestures for me to do the same. After a few deep breaths, in and out, my muscles seem to unknot a little, reason returning to me. Now, just close your eyes and relax. Just keep breathing through it. I'm hesitant, but I follow his instruction. Rolling my shoulders a little, I close my eyes and let out a deep, shuddering breath. I know my name. It's here, somewhere. Don't try and force it. Focus on clearing your mind, calming it. Let it come to you. His voice washes over me like a balm, soothing and healing my fractured nerves. God bless, June. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Ever so slowly, my mind empties. Darkness it leaves behind like an endless abyss waiting to be filled. After a few more moments, something clicks into place. Like the download button in my brain has regained power once again. Trying to hold all of the other thoughts at bay, I part my lips and speak the one word that hangs like a neon light in the back of my mind. Solaris. Solaris. That's my name. A breath of fresh air washes through my lungs, my frustration from earlier receding a little. I try and push a little further. A last name or even my home. But the more I try, the more the black hole of my memory sucks me into nothing. Nothing comes to mind, not even the slightest inkling. I decide not to push it anymore for now. My first name will have to do. Slowly, I open my eyes again. A smile tugging at my lips as my eyes fall upon June and that contagious lopsided grin of his. I'm Solaris. June grins wider, and it's one of those smiles that reaches his eyes, wrinkles the skin beside them. Hey, handsome. Aww. It's a pleasure to meet you, Solaris. Do you remember anything else? I search my mind, every darkened crevice and corner, but come up short. No. June lets out a sigh, as if it burdens him to be the one to tell me whatever comes next. There was an attack on the palace in Silta V. We found you unconscious nearby. A bridge had collapsed, well, it had been destroyed, actually. Our medic healed what she could, but we never expected memory loss to be a factor. Perhaps you lived around the area. Does any of this sound familiar to you? I shake my head. I recall the city of Siltavi, capital of the planet Goldus, but did I live there? Do I have a life there or a family waiting for me? My mind seems bathed in darkness, coming a blank with each attempt to remember my past. I'm sorry, I remember the city, but nothing past that. June ducks his head, thinking for a moment. It could be some type of short-term memory loss. We'll have our medic look over you again. If you remember where you're from, we can help you get back there. There must be someone waiting for you. There isn't. The words leave my mouth before I can stop them, but somehow I know it's true. Even if it isn't, what good would it be if I can't remember them? June shifts in his chair, but I cut him before he has a chance to say more. All I know right now is my name. I have you to thank for that. It's a start, right? I chew my bottom lip anxiously, feeling his eyes flicker over me. I know the thought of forgetting everything should be terrifying, but for some reason I feel calm. No, I think we're worried. Worried. I'm not scared of not knowing, but still. What if I'm forgetting something important? Someone important? What if I had plans, a life, responsibilities? I have to remember June. An easiness settles in my stomach, and I think perhaps I'm more shaken up than I've let on. The only consolation is that June seems worried enough for the both of us. His eyes go wide at my words, and I can practically feel the concern dripping from him. I'm sorry. We should get you to the medic. She'll be able to help you far better than I can. She's Talari. Perhaps you remember their reputation? Indeed. Talari are exceptional healers, though I can't remember ever meeting any of their species before. June offers his hand to help me stand, and when I take it, his skin is surprisingly warm, a stark contrast to the cold metal walls of the room around us. Despite the roughness of his skin, the calluses on his fingers, his touch is gentle. For a moment, I think I'm okay to stand on my own, but when I let go of his hand, my legs buckle beneath me. Letting out a yelp, I'm hit with a sense of falling for only a split second before a strong arm wraps around my waist, holding me up. Solaris, are you alright? Once again, we are faced with options to flirt. I mean, we could. We have literally nothing to lose. However, we will not be. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry. June holds me as I steady myself until I'm confident I can stand on my own, letting go of him with a grateful smile. That was a close one. Thanks. He chuckles at my awkward attempt to smooth my temporary clumsiness. At least I hope it was temporary. I'm cut short when the lights above us blink on and off as the ship lurches, prompting June to steady me with a hand on my arm once again. What was that? Just technical issues? That's not suspicious at all. What kind of technical issues? The last thing I need is to be stranded on a broken starship with no memory. One crisis at a time, thank you very much. And smiles at me reassuringly. Nothing to worry about. Come on, I'll show you the infirmary on my way out. I follow behind June down a couple of corridors. The ship isn't massive by any means, but it certainly seems bigger than I expected. When he stops in front of a set of blue, transparent double doors, he turns to me. This is where I leave you. I should probably get to the bridge before all hell breaks loose. The alarm must show on my face because she shakes his head and chuckles softly. Nothing to worry about. Now head on in. Riona will take care of you. Thank you, June. He stops and gives me a strange look, his eyes wide. But just as quickly, he smiles gently and nods before disappearing down the corridor. When I enter the infirmary, as cautious and as quiet as a rabbit avoiding a trap, the first thing that hits me is the smell. It smells clean, but not in that sterile, medical way. I'm taking the infirmary. It's surprisingly cute for a spaceship. I love all of her little plants here. little post-it notes. More like dewy grass and fresh rain, like the open air and sky, which is very comforting on a spaceship. It reminds me of a cool spring morning, though I can't recall ever having experienced one. Aww. It's almost homey. Oh, you're awake. The voice that startles me is surprisingly soft, and my head tilts to follow the sound. Hi. Oh, she's so pretty. She's Talari, by the looks of her luminescent skin, her primal yellow eyes. I'm Riona. It's good to see you finally up and about. You've been looking after me? She smiles, and there's something so soft, so calming about it that it soothes right down to my bones. I'm reluctant to let my guard down so easily, but her soothing presence hardly inspires fear. Yes, I'm the medic here. And your name is? Solaris. Pleasure to meet you, Solaris. Please, take a seat. Let's have a look at you. She gestures with long, thin fingers towards the medical chair. Look at her fingers. Towards the medical chair that's positioned in the center of the room, and I follow her instructions, noting the plastic that crinkles beneath me as I sit. So, how are you feeling? Physically, I think I'm okay. Baby, you just passed out. You can barely walk. But I hesitate, and she cocks her head to the side, watching me curiously and giving me time to get my thoughts in order. I haven't been able to remember much besides my name. I see. Riona grabs a long silver wand from a metal table and holds it in front of me. May I? I nod, and she lights up the tip with a swish, shining the blue lights on the end into my eyes, one after another. I suspected you had a concussion when they brought you in here. You had hit your head rather hard. I cleaned it up and lasered the wound back together, but I'm afraid there's not a lot I can do for memory loss. Her fingers are cool against my scalp, and she inspects the old wound next, giving an approving hum at whatever she finds there. Have you noticed any issues with your vision or coordination? The silver wand is pressed gently inside my ear before Riona pulls it back out and inspects the strange illuminated symbols on the side. When I first got out of bed, I lost my balance. Since then, apart from the memory thing, I've been feeling fine. Riona holds the wand in front of my face vertically, and a blue light washes over me, blinking for a few seconds before it dissipates entirely. When I follow her gaze to the screen behind me, the images have changed, depicting a series of numbers and icons I can't understand. I did not go to medical school. Your scans are almost back to normal, aside from some bruising here and there, though that's to be expected. She stands back and inspects me, her nose crinkled slightly in thought. Physically, you're healing well. If you've already remembered your name, my best guess would be a mild case of retrograde amnesia. Amnesia? Yes, it's more common than you may think following a head injury, though I can't say that every patient heals in the same way. But it will heal? I'll remember, won't I? Riona gives me a sad smile, and in that moment I know she's just as unsure as I am. Only time will tell. Perhaps if I ask you some questions, they might trigger a memory. It's worth a shot. Let's see. Where do you live? I live in a big city. City. At least I think so. The images are hazy, but when I really think about it, I get flashes of golden sky, clouds stretching as far as I can see. That's a good start. Do you see anything else? I close my eyes like I did with June and try to remember more. White, gold, and water. No, fountains. There were fountains everywhere. That sounds like Goldus, all right. The planet gets its water source from tunnels deep below the Earth. The fountains make it accessible to everyone. Let's see if you remember anything else. Do you have any siblings? Yes. I think I had many. I have this feeling I was always surrounded by brothers and sisters, but it never felt like a family. There's one, though. I gasp when a sharp pain shoots through my head, whatever memory I was grasping onto slipping through my fingers like sand. I can't remember anymore. Don't push yourself too hard. You can try again later. I nod and glance around the room, and once again I'm hit by that smell. I notice now there's something else mixed into it, something sweet, almost fruity. Can I ask what that smell is? Oh. She's so sweet. Oh, it's my mister. Riona gestures to a small, cylinder-shaped object in the corner of the room. I can reprogram it to replicate scents. This one is my home planet. Tilaran. She giggles unexpectedly as if she didn't mean to say that. I guess I'm a little homesick. Aw. Is this your family? That's assuming a lot. I've heard it's beautiful. I've heard Tilaran is beautiful. I mean, I'm not sure how I know, but I'm sure it is. Riona smiles fondly, and I get the impression she's visiting her home in her mind. You're right, it is. Crystal water, clear skies, green stretching as far as you can see. Dotted all over the planet are enormous spires, towers that disappear high into the clouds. Each spire can hold an entire city, hospitals, schools, homes. People think Goldus is the shining star of the system, but Tilaran is the real jewel. It's more beautiful than this hunk of junk anyway, but don't let the captain know I said that. Why did you leave? You smile sadly, and I can't help but to feel a little of the emotion myself, sinking into my skin like dew. I wanted to help the people that no one else would. Did you help them? For a time, yes, but even the best intentions aren't always welcome. Freeze changes, that sadness I'd seen glimpses of every now and again, coming to the surface once more. And sometimes things don't go as planned. I'm sorry to hear that. She smiles at me gratefully, and there's something beautiful about it. Something pure and utterly selfless. It strikes me that someone with this much kindness and devotion towards the world should never have to go through such hardship, and I can only hope that whatever she's had to endure has only made her stronger. God. Someone get control of this ship. The ship lurches violently, and Riona and I grab hold of the chair, fixtured securely to the floor to keep ourselves from flying across the room. Who's piloting the ship anyway? What was that? Probably just a gas cloud. Our pilot is usually good at avoiding them, but sometimes the autopilot veers us too close. Well, we're all done here. Best if you go back to your room and get some rest. Your body hasn't fully recovered. Do you think you can find your way back on your own? I'm sure I'll manage. Okay then. I'll bring you some food and fresh clothes in a little while and check in on how you're doing. I exit the infirmary, heading back in the direction June and I had come from. At least, I think this was the way. This is the way. As I continue walking down the corridor, I realize all the doors look the same. Great. That's fantastic. Also, Very beautiful. Perhaps I should have asked Riona to show me the way after all. The corridors are all metal walls and elaborate circuitry, fluorescent lights evenly spaced hanging from the ceiling, the occasional patch holding metal sheets together. I look around for some kind of sign, but find nothing, stopping only when I come to the next door. It's larger than the rest of them. It must lead somewhere important. After debating my choice for about a minute too long, I suddenly realize there's nothing to lose if I end up walking to the wrong room anyway. Yep, this certainly isn't where I'm meant to be. I should probably leave, though I can see the edges of a window behind a stack of crates against the wall and it draws my curiosity. This must be the docks. The boarding area should be around here somewhere, which means the view from here must be breathtaking. Making my way past the crates, I'm now facing a large window, the vast, dark abyss of the universe laid bare in front of me. I count the stars as we pass, and I wonder if I'm truly from Goldus. Somewhere out there, the answers wait for me. I'm sure of it. Somewhere in the system lies the key to my true self. He's out there somewhere. My only fear is whether it's a good idea to chase the ghosts of my past or leave them buried where they are and start anew. Oh well, look who's up and running. Hey! I clutch at my chest as I jump at the voice, trying to find the source. Relax, kid. I'm not gonna... Holy shit, is that what all the racket is down there? He steps up to the door, peering through the small window with a look of mild irritation. When he steps back, he swears under his breath. This is not good. The captain is gonna flip his lid when he hears there's a hole in the cargo hold. Uh-oh. A hole in the what? Is it safe for us to be here? He paces a few steps, looking at the door nervously before turning to me. That door is airtight. I'm more worried about the Lotala supply. When I don't say anything, his lips pull into a tight line. Small fruit only goes on to Lauren. I shrug my shoulders and he lets out a defeated sigh. Doc gets cranky without her special fruits, and you do not want to see her when she's cranky. Come on, let's head to the bridge. We can chat on the way. He turns briskly, and I debate running in the opposite direction, hiding in my room, before I think better of it, and I'm forced to jog to catch up with him. Even though his posture seemed tense, the curve of his lips suggests otherwise. I'm Bash, by the way. You got a name? Solaris. Pleasure. So, Solaris, how the hell did you end up in the middle of a coup in Goldus? A coup? I don't remember. You don't remember how you got there? I don't remember anything. Well, except my name. June helps me with that. Good old June, huh? He thinks for a moment before speaking again. Well, that's brilliant. Think about it. It's not every day you get to make up a brand new identity. You want to pick a new name? If you if you do it quick, I won't tell anyone you swapped it. Not that there's anything wrong with the one you got, but think of all the choices. I stared at him, a little stunned, and after a moment or two, his face drops to realization. Oh, he's trying to help. Unless you're not happy about all this? Shit, I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes my head a few seconds to catch up my mouth, you know? It's okay. I smile at him. There's something addictive about his energy, the way he seems to be almost bouncing on air with each step. It's fine. To be honest, I don't know how to feel about it yet. It's an odd feeling, not knowing. I should be feeling something, right? But I don't know, it's confusing. I get it. There's nothing like falling on your ass to make you feel like nothing in this damn world makes sense anymore. If it's any consolation, I've been there once or twice myself. He smiles sadly, and I have a hard time imagining anything in the world bringing down the bundle of energy in front of me. My eyes drift to the way his tattoos flicker, growing luminescent under the spaceship's lights. Then to his bionic arm and his side, a network of metal plates and connectors, intrinsically woven together. On closer inspection, I notice the hastily patched repair jobs and oil-stained bandages holding parts of it together, and I can't keep a smile from tilting my lips. There's something about Bash that fascinates me, something rough and unruly, and I find myself wishing I could learn more about him. Oh, he's handsome. Do the bionics make you nervous? I snap my gaze to his face, embarrassed of being caught staring. He laughs, and I can't help but feel like he's laughing at me. You've never seen bionics before? Your mouth is probably dragging on the floor. No, I've seen them before. I don't know. Maybe I've never seen them up close. Oh, is that it? You're hoping for a closer look? Bastard. No. He wiggles his eyebrows at me suggestively, and I roll my eyes. In your dreams, maybe. Bash fakes a look of mock offense, holding both hands, bionic and human, over his heart. You owe me so. And here I was, thinking we were starting to become friends. Oh.
Self-voicing disabled.
Sorry. I give him a dry look, and he grins that crooked grin of his, which only makes me break my facade and laugh with him. I can certainly think of worse friends I could have. I'm curious, did they give you any special abilities? Bash flexes his bionic arm in front of him, makes a fist, and relaxing it again. His face is strange all of a sudden, haunted by the ghosts of memories past. This is stronger than any old human arm. Faster, too. Crushes steel as easy as a tin can. But the real moneymaker is this. He gestures to his left eye, giving me the opportunity to study it closer. It's obvious, on first glance, that there's something different about it. The way it pulses a bright electric yellow makes his right eye, a dark forest green, seem almost dull in comparison. Infrared sight, X-ray vision, advanced targeting. I instinctively move to cover myself before he laughs heartily and I stop, dropping my arms to the side and feeling a little foolish. Damn, you think he's just, checking you out? Relax, kid. You'll know when it's activated. It glows red. I laugh at myself, trying to recover from my awkward reaction. And the tattoos? Purely ornamental, though I like to think they add to my overall formidable appearance. They do. They look amazing. An ungraceful snort escapes me before I can stop it. I hesitate, deciding how to word the question that's poised on my lips without sounding like I'm digging for gory details. How did you end up with them? I mean, if you don't mind me asking. Bash grimaces, and I'm immediately aware of how intrusive I'm being. Sorry, you don't have to answer that. I'll make you a deal. When something worth sharing pops up into that head of yours, I'll tell you. I agree with a nod of my head and a tight smile of my own, falling into step beside him once again. So, what do you think of our humble abode? Ignoring the fact, of course, that there is a great fucking hole in the cargo hold. I can't help but smile at the way Bash seems to flip something as serious as a hole in the spaceship into something of a mere inconvenience. I mean, he can fix it. He's Mr. Fix-It. It's okay. I haven't seen much of it yet. No one's given you the tour? The outrage! You think they were a band of bloody savages if you didn't know any better. Have you met the captain yet? No. Bash gives a scoff of a laugh, then shakes his head in amusement. Can't say you're missing out. The man's got a vendetta on a scale I've never seen before. Just stay clear of his warpath, and you'll be okay, kid. But let's see. Anyone else you'd like to know more about? You. Riona comes to mind. Gives me a look, one I can't quite decipher. Doc is, well, there's plenty I could say about her, but I'll save it for another time. His face changes after that. Becomes softer somehow. Okay, helpful. June. June seems nice. The cowboy brought you on board. Has he shown you his guns yet? It won't be long till he's whipping them out, both sets of them. Just watch out for that pet of his. Sharp teeth and confined spaces are not a good mix, let me tell you now. Don't ask me how I know that. Is that how you lost your arm? His pet? You'll know it when you see it. Trust me. Oh. And the pilot. There was mention of a pilot? Ah yes, now there's a pocket rocket if I ever did see one. Too bad she wasn't a fan of the water tank plans I drew up. One of them... What are we going with? Catalfins? One of them's Catalfins, you know. What I wouldn't give to see a full-blown space mermaid in all their watery glory. His mind drifts elsewhere for a moment, and when I clear my throat, he shrugs his shoulders and shakes his head. She'd rather live like a lowly old human. Can't see the sense in that, personally. You've obviously met me, the most handsome and talented engineer this side of Callus X. I would say that's all you need to know, but I'm sure there is someone else. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting someone? He holds a finger against his lips, and I can't tell if he's serious or if this is all just for dramatic effect. He snaps his finger in front of him, grinning at me as we walk through a set of double doors. Oh yes, the assassin. Says he's a spy, but between you and me, I can see him sneaking up on me from a mile away. He leans in close to whisper the last part, his eyes glinting with unmistakable mischief. Always lurking in the shadows, playing with his knives. You know, this one time I swear I saw him. Saw me what? Uh-oh. What's that about? See him coming from a mile away? Ah! Damon! Hey, I was just telling the newbie here about our happy little crew. Delightful. Please don't let me stop you. You know what? I think I hear the captain calling my name. What's that, Cap? Bash is already halfway across the bridge before I have a chance to say goodbye, leaving me stranded on my own at the entrance. Well, not quite on my own, as Damon is still leaning nonchalantly against the wall next to me. I spare him a nervous glance, my skin prickling under his cold stare. The way he's looking me over makes me feel like I'm not so much his guest on the ship, but his prey. I wonder, is he really an assassin? Trying to ignore his unnerving presence, I survey the front of the ship. The room is spacious, control panels spread across the front. 2 seats for the pilot and co-pilot, surrounded by a domed window and a cluster of seats behind them. I duck my head a little to see through the glass up ahead. The view of Celeota is even more breathtaking from here. I have no idea what planet we're passing in the distance, but somehow it makes me feel unnervingly small. A tiny, insignificant speck, alone in this vast galaxy. The drifting sound of arguing reaches my ears, and a couple people I haven't met yet, coupled with June and Bash, pace across the room towards us. One man, his presence ominous, stops them all, his voice booming through the space. Over the whirring of the engines and grind of electronics, I can't quite make out what they're arguing about, and I feel a slinking presence beside me, dark and ominous and entirely dangerous. Everyone I've met has been welcoming in their own way. This man, Damon, Bash called him, feels anything but. My eyes flicker to the side, and I know, even before I see, that he's watching me. It is funny, because, like, obviously Damon is intimidating, but I just... I don't know, I simply cannot take... Like, it's not that I can't take him seriously, like, obviously he's, you know, he has the credibility behind his name through there, but... And I think in real life, obviously, I'd be like, stay away from me. But he's a sweetheart. Once you get through the layers, onion man, we'll hang back. On second thought, it might not be such a good idea to barge into the middle of a debate between people I don't know, on a ship I don't belong to, in the middle of nowhere. Tension hangs in the air, so thick you could cut it with a blade. I see now that any interruption would be less than welcome. I turn to find something else to do in the meantime, startling upon finding Damon closer than expected, staring me down through cold, calculated eyes. Hi, bestie. He's such an asshole. Good to know you're not as dumb as you look. He speaks with a tone that leaves me unsure of his intention, holding a thin blade between a forefinger and a thumb, sheathing it quickly upon catching my wandering eyes. And here I thought, after we found you smack dab in the middle of an attack on the Royal Palace, that you were a total write-off. Makes me wonder if I was wrong. I stared at him dumbly, utterly baffled how anyone could exude so much charm, yet be so completely disrespectful all at the same time. Tall, dark, and handsome is an understatement for the man in front of me, but there's something else. Something venomous, lingering behind that wolfish smile. Something that seems almost cruel in comparison to the beauty of the rest of him. Damon lets out a long, dramatic sigh, cocking his head left and then right, sizing me up. Also, I love his little earring. Yes, you're very intimidating. Look at his little earring. Very cute. No, something about your slack-jawed, half-witted stare tells me I most certainly wasn't. Okay, asshole. We won't say anything. We're just, sometimes the best thing to do is just ignore. Damon cocks an eyebrow, shooting me a strange look before he leans in to studying my face a little closer. Personal space. Is anyone home up there? What did the doc do to you when you were out? I pull back abruptly before he can get any closer, finally coming back to my senses. Yeah, sorry, I'm just a little overwhelmed by this all. He huffs a laugh, I wonder what exactly he finds funny about the situation. I can't promise things are gonna get any easier for you, sweetheart. I forgot how such an asshole he is. Oh my god. But I love him. I have St. Lemons and Bits, and I actually adore his relationship, especially in the non-romance route. As you kind of bond with him in friendship and stuff. He's my favorite lovable asshole. I turn to leave, thoroughly done with this conversation, and the way Damon's mood chops and changes as quickly as the view from the cockpit. Where are you going? A silky voice stops me in my tracks, and when I look at Damon, it's to find him studying me curiously, as if I was some specimen in a laboratory. Back to my room? But we've only just started having fun. Fuck off. Sorry. I do. You know what else I'm good at? Finding out what people want. What they really want. He pushes himself away from the wall, stepping towards me with an unnatural feline grace. So tell me, Solaris, what is it that you truly desire? His voice still holds what seems to be a perpetually snarky undertone, but when he asks me that, I don't know. Damon narrows his cold blue eyes, the look in them clearly unsatisfied with my answer. Everyone wants something. It's usually dark, twisted, and secretive, but it's what makes us who we are. I have no idea what I want. I can't remember anything, bitch. Liar. I'll find what it is sooner or later. Oh my god, what if it's you? It's not. His hooded eyes slide up and down my body, leaving a burning trail in their make. Stop sexualizing me. Is he really hitting on me? Good luck. Good luck with that. Though my failed attempt to make my words sound light, I know he can hear the tremble in my words, and he grins wolfishly in that wolfish way that makes my head spin and my mouth go dry. I don't need luck, newbie. I blink dumbly at his unfaltering confidence, how it drips from him like smoke, coiling translucently around his limbs. Do you do that on purpose? Make it feel like you're trying to lure every poor soul into your bed? Damon laughs, and for a moment I think I've caught him off guard with my boldness. He seems younger when he laughs. A glow flushes his face, and as short as the moment is, I'm glad to have finally caught a glimpse of what's underneath that icy exterior. Maybe. Do you want to be lured into my bed? Not particularly. He laughs again, and I sense something shift in him. Something that relaxes his shoulders and chases the shadows from his face. There we go. We got through to you. You know, you're not so bad. We might just get along. If you stick around, of course. He winks at me in a way that feels oddly oh my god, I can speak. Conspiratorial. Oh my god. You know what that word is. Just don't expect any special treatment. Yeah, that's fine. I'm still lost in the moment when footsteps approach, heavy set and clipped, and a gruff voice calls towards us. Why's my keyboard not working? Reznor. Oh my god, sorry. Usually my keyboard works. Damon rolls his eyes, his lip curling into a smirk as he winks at me, blue eyes glinting with amusement. He steps back slowly, one foot behind the other, and sliding his hands into his pockets, he turns, a shit-eating grin spread across his handsome face. Yes, dear? Is this really the time to be messing around? Damon gasps. Dramatic bitch. Damon gasps, holding a hand to his chest in mock offense. Messing around me? Why, Commander, I would never. You guys look so cozy over there, and you know I would never want to intrude. The commander inhales sharply, shutting his eyes and pinching the bridge of his nose in clear annoyance. Why are you... He stops, fixing Damon with a dark stare, one that says, don't fuck with me, among other things. You know what? This isn't time for your bullshit, Damon. I need you to go and do your thing. And tell Bash to get Oppo on the line. We'll be paying a visit. Yes, sir. Damon gives a mock salute, pulling on a pair of black leather gloves and looking thoroughly unimpressed with being interrupted. He turns back before he leaves the bridge, sparing a single glance over his shoulder. Don't wait up for me. I'm not sure which one of us he's speaking to. In the end, I decide I'd rather not know. With a thick swallow, I turn back to the other man, steeling myself against the wrath Damon so generously invoked in him. Damon was unnerving, in his own kind of way, but this man is downright terrifying. Tall, rigid, with a scowl so intimidating, it makes my blood run cold. Looks like the warm welcome ended with bash. What are you doing here? Folding his arms across his broad chest, he stares me down. I try my hardest not to shrink under his glacial gaze. Excuse me? He lets out an exasperated huff of air, his sharp jaw tensing with frustration. Look, I don't have time to babysit a stowaway. Do us all a favor and keep off the bridge, will you? Okay, what else am I supposed to do? And what else am I supposed to do? That's not my problem. June was the one who brought you on board. Why don't you go and bother him? What? I'm sorry. Did I not make myself clear? Stay out of my way. I blink at him stupidly, attempting to contemplate how exactly one man could be so obnoxious. He's got a ship to run. Play nice now, Calderon. My eyes flick over to him involuntarily. He has the look of a soldier. Strong jaw, stiff back. Stick up his ass about a mile long. Look, I really don't have time for... IMA, get this goddamn ship on course. We're not stopping by the Catalfin ruins. I don't give a shit what time of year it is. The wind barks something at him, and I back away slowly, thinking it's probably best to keep out of his way after all. I've barely made it 3 steps before he turns, sapphire eyes landing on me and a cold stare freezing me in place. You're from Goldus. The way he says it isn't a question, but it catches me off guard nonetheless. What? That's where we picked you up from, right? Right. So tell me, do you think this new guy in power, Zovak, is going to be any better than the greedy son of a bitch before him? A flash of anger passes over his features so quickly I would have missed it if I wasn't looking closer. My eyebrows knit together, confused. Maybe Riona was mistaken about my accident. I feel less like I've taken a blow to the head, and more like I've been dropped into another galaxy entirely. I don't know. He sneers at me. His lips curled cruelly, and immediately I know I've struck a nerve. You don't know? Isn't that what all you Goldians wanted? A fucking liberator? Back off, Captain. The woman, IMA, warns him, her voice low, but with enough venom coating it to be threatening. Calderon snorts, ignoring her. How do I know you're not one of his lackeys? Maybe this whole memory loss ploy was a way to get on this ship. You think I want this? To not know who I am? Who knows what you'd say to worm your way into my crew? He takes a step towards me, and it's so intimidating that it takes everything I have to not move a muscle. I would be running? You're unbelievable. And you're becoming a pain in my ass, so I'm going to ask you one last time. He points a finger at me. Sorry, there's birds attacking my window. He points a finger at me, and I resist the urge to shove it away. Are you working for oh my god, my mind is going blank. Are you working for Jez Zovdak? Who? No. We could ask him, he's always such a dick. Who? He closes his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose tight, and I can almost see whatever shred of patience he had left wither and die. I don't know what else he expected me to say. I have no idea who this Zovak is. What the hell are you doing on my ship? Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't ask to be here. I got swooped up. It sounds to me like I need to have a word with June about picking up strays. I mean, he literally will take in anything. He is a lizard. My chest heaves with my anger, but I hold my tongue. He is the captain after all, even if his manners leave much to be desired. Okay, fix my keyboard. Battery's fallen out. Know this, until we reach our destination, all eyes will be on you. I'm not your enemy. You don't need to be so paranoid. Paranoia is the least of my worries. Zovak is not a man to be trifled with. If you don't like him, then maybe he's not so bad. I forgot we're a bitch too. It takes only a second to know that was the worst thing to say. His lips curl back from his teeth, revealing a scowl so venomous my eyes widen. Not so bad? You think murder and deceit and radicalism are not so bad? His growl echoes straight through me, and I inhale sharply, meeting him head on. Zovak, the bastard who forced the Crown Council to name him king, but not before killing the entire royal family. Think about that, will you? King Fenris, 3 queens, and their 11 children murdered. His eyes are blazing, the fury made obvious by the growl in his throat and the flush of his skin. Also, if you haven't picked it up already or haven't played the game already, this is also a, we'll say inspired by events, historical events of the Romanov family. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And also specifically the movie Anastasia, which is a very fun movie. Which we'll see some of the things sort of going through on. But that, I know that's a big part of who the developers were kind of inspired by. His eyes are blazing, the fury made obvious by the growl in his voice and the flush of his skin. Now, how about you tell me again how he's not so bad? For fuck's sake, Calderon, have you really got to be a raging asshole 90% of the time? She grabs Calderon by the arm, hoisting him back a step, where she glares up at him. They're not responsible for the mess we're in. He fixes her with an equally hard stare. The tension between them palpable as he grits out from between clenched teeth. Set the course, now. She merely rolls her eyes at him, storing back to the cockpit controls. The confusion must show in my face because when he turns to me again, he lets out a defeated sigh, rubbing a hand over his face tiredly. You really don't remember anything? His voice is surprisingly gentle now, and I shake my head, unable to tear my gaze away from his. There's something about those eyes. Calderon's got a wall around him about a mile high. That much is obvious. But every now and again there's a flicker of something. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was sadness. He inhales sharply, the red flush of anger melting away as he waves his dismissive hand at me. Whatever, I've got shit to do. Head back to your room, I'll have someone check on you later. I let out an impatient sigh. Oh, I'll walk away. Whatever. I'm beginning to tire, and there isn't any point in prolonging the argument. It's clear this man is as stubborn as a mule. Besides, it's probably not the best idea to antagonize the man who commands the ship. Before I turn to leave, the corner of his lips twitch in poorly concealed amusement. Wait. What did you say your name was? I don't know, you never fucking asked me, Cal. I didn't, but it's Solaris. He gives me a strange look, eyebrows quirked, and then he shakes his head as if deciding he doesn't care after all. Well, whoever you are, we'll be dropping you off in Terranium. Terranium. I know it's not how it's spelled, but in my head I've always pronounced it terrarium. Terranium. Once we get there, I suggest you come with a plan before then. The streets of Nosvega are not kind to the unprepared. Just gonna dump me off on that nasty-ass planet? Until then, unless you can do something useful, which I highly doubt, stay out of the way. He turns to leave the room, but not before giving me another once-over, sizing me up. I stand there dumbly, watching the captain leave the bridge, his heavy-set footsteps disappearing under the hiss of the closed door. Hi, bestie. Yay, I get to talk to someone nice again. Sorry about him. It isn't personal, if it helps. It's okay. With a sigh, I tear my eyes from the door, letting my annoyance out in a slow exhale. It's okay. It's not your fault. Really, don't mind him. He's got issues, that one. But then again, so the rest of us, I suppose. At least the rest of them didn't call me useless, but... I mean, Solaris, I got bad news for you. But I'm not going to dwell on it. I have enough problems on my plate, and despite one, or rather two bad eggs, two asshole guys, I have been welcomed on this ship well enough. But, 4 out of 6, not bad. I'm just surprised at how easily you scared him off. What's the secret? He lets out a laugh, a light tinkle of a sound that has me crooking an eyebrow curiously. Oh, she's so cute. No, I love her, and I love her little design. I love... I don't know, I just love everything about Aya. She's the first one that I romanced. Definitely have big hard eyes for her. She makes it seem too easy, standing up to a guy almost twice her size, and I can't help but feel like it would be a useful skill to learn. Just tell him to get lost and pull him down from his high horse. It's easy to get caught up in his bad attitude. Try not to let it get to you. The man's been through a lot. I can't help but wonder exactly at the nature of her relationship with the captain. They seemed pretty close after all. The last thing I want to do is pry, so perhaps an indirect approach would be best. Or maybe I shouldn't ask her at all. Why would she disclose her personal life to a stranger? I can hear the links in that brain of yours struggling from here. If you want to ask me something, go ahead. I won't bite. Unless you want me to. She has the last part with a wink, catching me off guard with her boldness. No. Biting on my lower lip, I hesitate. It's not that I'm not curious, but I don't feel like it's polite to intrude like that. Besides, what's it to me if they're together or not? She's so pretty. You're making me curious and worried because it looks like I can fry an egg on your face with how red you are. I flushed even harder in the face of her teasing, wishing the thought had never crossed my mind at all. It was just a silly thought. Really don't mind me. My head must still be a bit confused and... Wow, you want to know for a thing? With a laugh bordering hysterical, she runs her hand through her hair, drawing my attention to her face. I glance over at the gear attached to her head. It looks advanced, amazingly so, but what really catches my eye are the thin gills on the sides of her neck, moving ever so slightly with each breath she takes. A dolphin. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that eventually. We are definitely not a couple. Never. Ew, gross. Curly, you slept with Damon. She makes a gagging sound before she turns back to me with a crooked grin, completely unfazed. He's more like a lame older brother. We've been looking out for each other for as long as I can remember. That makes more sense, actually, and I feel a little foolish at having thought otherwise at all. Hang on. You asked me if I'm single before getting my name, and they say I'm the bold one. Oh, she's cute. The grin on her face is so wide, it almost makes her eyes as thin as her gills. I open my mouth to protest, only to realize there's no argument. I did ask her relationship status before her name. This is awkward. I'm Ayame, the only one who keeps this steel tub on course is yours truly. But please, call me Aya. Ayame just sounds so... Calderon, don't you think? She talks so fast, there's barely enough time for me to process the information, but I find that I like it that way. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. The only thing that comes to mind is how rude it was of me to start asking her about her personal life without even introducing myself. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. It's nice to meet you anyhow. I'm Solaris. With a chuckle, Aya waves her hand dismissively at me. I was just kidding, chillax. She winks at me again, the huge grin spread over her face. It was my turn to choke on a laugh. Chillax, really? Hey, that's a mighty fine word. Obviously. The way her face so quickly distorts in the shock makes it impossible to keep a straight face. We stare at each other for a few moments, my lips twitch at the corners, mimic our own until we can't hold on any longer and break out into combined laughter. Aya's nice. There's just something about her, something fun, and I can't help but to play into her particular brand of mischief. Here, between us, you really need to chill. And relax. See? Chillax is a mighty word. I can't even imagine what it's like to wake up with no memories, but it'll come back. You just gotta trust yourself. I'm not sure what I can trust right now, but I know when she says that, I almost believe it'll truly be alright. If she believes it, then I think I can afford to have a little faith too. Until then, I can be your bodyguard, if you like. If Calderon ever gives you shit, let me know, and I'll show you how to knock him on his ass. She wiggles her eyebrows and gives me a knowing look, one that has me rolling my eyes in amusement. Thinking about that, however, brings back the memory of the captain and his ultimatum. The smile on my face fades as I remember, and I can't quite explain why. I hardly know these people, but somehow, the thought of being alone in the state I am is somehow terrifying. Hey, what killed the mood? Did you remember something shitty about your past? I wish. Shaking my head, I raise my eyes to meet hers, taking in her subtle concern. No, I'm just not sure how much longer I'll be around. Why's that? You got someplace to go? Well, not particularly, but the captain said you're dropping me off in Terranium when we arrive. Aya's eyebrows almost disappear beneath her hair as she stares at me, a mixture of shock and anger clouding her features. What the? He said he's dropping you off in Terranium? Terranium? Yeah, it's your next stop, isn't it? It's my turn to look confused. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I couldn't have mistaken a name like that. It is, but do you know anyone in Terranium? Got a place to go? Any plans? I keep shaking my head at her questions, one after the other. My past is still a blur. These people are the only ones I remember knowing, and somehow I think I've gotten a little attached. I mean, when you literally have nothing else, you gotta immediately start jumping. With an exasperated huff, Aya throws her hands in the air and starts pacing in front of me. Is he out of his freaking mind? No, he must have completely lost it now. Biting my lip, I hold her by the arm to stop her from burning a hole in the floor with the intensity of her pacing. It's okay. I can take care of myself. I'll just ask around, get a job, or something to keep me going while I try to get my life in order. It's fine, really. The last thing I want is to cause trouble for one of the few people who's been so kind to me. They already saved my life. It's not right to ask more from them. Aya stops, pulling her bottom lip between her teeth before she turns to me. It's not fine. A job in Terranium? Fending yourself in that place when you don't even know your last name? Shaking her head, she puts a hand on my shoulder, looking me dead in the eye. And I start to understand a little how she makes keep a pair like Damon and Calderon in check. Look, don't worry about that. I'm not going to let that dumbass leave you stranded in. The hissing sound of the pressure door opening next to us interrupts Aya. Solaris, didn't I tell you to get some rest? Oh shit. Startled by the stern voice, I turn to find a very annoyed doctor, her hands on her hips and her foot tapping expectantly. What's all this fuss about anyway? Sorry, we were talking, and then I found out some dumbass is thinking of doing something even dumber. I lost my cool, right? Riona's expression melts once she noticed my confusion. Her eyes settled on Aya with an almost maternal fondness. Then you go and deal with it, Aya, but please don't drag Solaris around with you. They need to rest, now. Sheepish smile on her face, Aya squeezed my shoulders once more before walking to the door. Aye, on it. And then she adds, quiet enough for only me to hear. You'd better do what Doc says. You don't want to see her when she's mad. Her footsteps fade as she skips down the hall, and Riona offers me an apologetic smile. Don't worry about her. I'm not even sure what she's talking about. True, I think she was upset about me being in Terranium, but I can't really tell why. I don't think any of us do most of the time. But enough chit-chat, you need to rest, come on. Her smile is soft, but the firmness of her voice makes it clear that I don't have any choice in the matter. So, answering with a smile of my own, I follow her away from the bridge. My body is still sore enough to be a bother, my legs having grown stiff from trapezing around the ship for the past few hours. I didn't notice it so much as I was talking with everyone, but resting doesn't sound half bad. After hours of lying in bed, tossing and turning, I finally admit that I'm not going to be able to get any sleep and settle instead for pacing the small room. My mind is stuck in an endless loop, sprinting 1,000 miles an hour, and the harder I try to think about my past, the harder my head pounds against my skull. Nothing feels right. I'd hate to think what Riona would do if she saw me burning myself out like this, but I can't help it. Especially now that I need to come up with a plan for when we get to Terranium. I don't remember much of the Junker planet, like everything else, but I know it's not a good place to be alone. Gambling dens, arenas, bars, strip clubs, what exactly am I supposed to do in a place like that? It was easy to joke about starting a new life earlier, but now it's sounding a lot more daunting. Heaving a sigh, I eventually give up the pacing, drop down in bed, crossing my arms behind my head and staring up at the metal ceiling, counting the bolts and rivets above me. My head shoots up at the sound of a knock on the door, and I push myself off the bed and walk over to open it. It's gonna be Ayame. Ayame? She's leaning against the doorframe, that cocky smile of hers fixed firmly in place. Ayame, jeez, it sounds like I'm in trouble with the captain when you call me that. I told you to call me Aya. With a smile, I watch as she pushes herself to stand up straighter and raises an eyebrow at me. So, can I come in? I step aside to make room, and with a skip in her step, Aya wanders in the room and plops down on the chair next to the bed. Her sharp eyes dart around the small space, taking in the decor, or rather lack of it. I thought you'd be asleep by now, to tell you the truth. Was afraid I'd wake you up. People here, well, they don't exactly appreciate my energy. I couldn't sleep. Don't tell Riona, she was adamant I rested, but, after everything. I trail off, shrugging my shoulders in half-hearted defeat as I pace the room and drop down on the edge of the bed. Figured as much, but, I was sort of hoping you'd done something with the room at least. 50 Shades of Grey this place is, and not in a good way, if you know what I mean. She laughs at her terrible joke, the sound so contagious that I can't help from joining her. I have to admit that she's right. This room is nothing but dull. My laugh eventually wanes as I realize it won't matter for much longer anyway. I'll be out on my own in Terranium in just a few short days. Trying desperately not to fall into thoughts of my impending homelessness, I turned to Aya and said, I'm sorry about earlier, on the bridge. I didn't mean to get you in trouble with Riona. Aya's eyes widen for a moment until she snorts ungracefully, a bubble of laughter escaping her. Trouble with that, Angel? Listen, the only one of us capable of actually pissing Doc off is Vash, and between you and me, I think he does it on purpose. Light's getting her all riled up, if you know what I clamps a hand over her mouth, cutting herself off mid-sentence. Don't tell him I said that. He's been sour with me ever since I kicked his ass in my mecha in the arena last time we were in Terranium. I don't care what they say, Vash might be the better engineer, but I am the better mecha builder. It's impossible not to chuckle at her confidence and energy, and despite all the confusion I've been through today, she's managed to lift my spirits considerably. A laugh? Are you mocking me? No, nothing like that. It's just, your confidence suits you. It's endearing. Her face lights up at the compliment, and she gives me a sweet smile. She almost strikes me as someone who doesn't receive nearly enough praise for the work she does around here, and I find myself thinking she deserves so much more. Oh, I like you, and we're gonna get along just fine if you keep telling me things like that. That reminds me, I have a little something for you. My nose wrinkles in confusion. You got me something? Aya laughs, pulling a small spherical object from her pocket and handing it to me. If you don't remember owning it first, then sure, considering this my welcome back to reality gift. I reach for the object, feeling the cold touch of metal on my fingertips. What is it? She shrugs, letting out a heavy sigh and leaning forward to admire the way the light bounces off its surface as I roll it in my hand. You had this with you when June found you. Thought you want it back. To be honest, I was kind of hoping you know what it was. It might kickstart something in that head of yours. Whatever it is, it's practically antique. It's made of catalphanite. The stuff was hard enough to get before. Well, now that catalpa's gone, that metal is about as rare as it gets. Ridiculously valuable is the point I'm trying to make. You must be some kind of richy rich, alright. I chuckle, but I'm only partially listening to Aya now, memorized instead by the small sphere in my hand. There's a kind of power about it, some low, thrumming energy running over my skin, desperate for release. Everything about it feels familiar. It feels like as I'm guided by some distant memory. I close my palm over the sphere, squeezing once before releasing it slowly. The shock on Aya's face would be comical if it wasn't a precise mirror of mine. The fruit... Sorry, the soundtrack, this music track always gets me. The first few notes of a tune tinkle from the sphere as it opens, and my eyes snap to Aya's. Her face now is dumbfounded as my own. It's a music box. We have our little broken music box with NLP at the top. The inside of the sphere is an intricate maze of metal, moving cogs, neon lights, and sizzling energy, and my eyes are memorized by the movements as it plays its slow, sad lullaby. The tinkling notes echo through the room, each as hauntingly familiar as the last. It's almost cruel how it caresses the edges of my memories, taunting me to remember faces and names that are no longer there. My heart tugs at the hopelessness of it all, and another sharp pain shoots through my head. With my teeth clenched tight against the pain, it's only now, when I feel the wetness on my cheeks, that I realize I'm crying. But why am I crying? The music box hasn't triggered any memories in me, only feelings. A sadness and longing so strong, it makes my heart ache. The melody ends, and for a long time after, neither of us say a word. Well, do you remember anything? Her eyes fixed on me, so heavy with questions that the intensity of it nearly crashes over me as I swallow thickly and avert my gaze. Because there's a new emotion there, written on her features as plain as day, and it's one I'm not sure my heart can take right now at this very moment. Because it's hope. Will I ever remember? Do you think I'll ever remember who I am, where I'm from, anything? I asked myself, more than anything, closing the music box with a soft click. Aya blinks a few more times in my questions, biting down on her bottom lip. I don't know. Maybe. The mind's a tricky thing. I'm not a genius or anything, but I think it's kind of like the ocean. Sometimes it's peaceful and calm, other times it's ruthless and difficult to navigate. You just have to find a way to guide it back to calmer waters. Holding the music box tight in my hands, it pulses, thrumming through my skin. Its sad, sweet music still echoing in my ears. I thought this thing would help, and I hate being wrong. Next time, I promise I'll be right. Maybe you shouldn't remember. Eyes flicked to hers, the confusion hitting me like a brick wall. What? Have you ever thought that maybe whatever your mind is holding you back from is for your own good? I don't understand. Think about it. What if whatever happened in your past was so bad you don't want to remember? There must be something worth remembering. I hope so. I really do. Taking a deep breath, she stands up, rolling her shoulders to release some tension. As she lets that breath out, her features are once again cool, collected, the casual mask set in place once again. I'd better get going now. I'd love to spend the night, but someone has to take care of the baby. Baby? What baby? Andromeda 6, of course. The other baby would be me, but I can take care of myself. She just laughs, the gills on her neck pulsing slightly with emotion. By the way, you should really think about brightening this place up. Since you'll be with us for the long haul and all, I can help you if you want. I have so many ideas. But hang on, the captain said, waving her hand dismissively. She's already one step out the door when she looks at me over her shoulder. I fix it. I'm used to being some sense in that thick skull of his. Looks like you're going to be sticking around for a while. I shoot her a grateful smile. I'm not sure I trust her decor ideas, but I appreciate the help. Good night, Solaris. The door slides closed before I get the chance to reply, but I'm too tired to yell. With a heavy sigh, I lay down on my bed, holding the music box above me. The metal glints in the fluorescent lights, and I vaguely recall hearing of catalphanite before. It's a metal that was found on Catalpa before it was destroyed, mined from deep below the watery surface in the ocean caves. That explains its pearlescent shine. Why do you feel so familiar? I speak out loud, squinting as something catches my eyes within the intricate detailing. There's an engraving on it. NLP. What does it mean? Feeling the exhaustion weighing on me, I decide the question can wait. Opening the music box once more, I set it beside me on the bed, watching the dance of the lights and gears as the tinkling melody lulls me to sleep. My eyes grow heavy, so heavy, I'm pulled under by the weight of my exhaustion. Wavering on the brink of dreams and reality, I hear it. A sweet, strong voice. Familiar. So familiar. Be strong, Solaris. Be safe. You're a fighter, a survivor. The day where I'll have to leave you will come, sooner than we both know. Promise me. Don't give up. Who are you? Why can't I remember you? Why does it feel like I miss you when I can't even... I'm sorry. I miss you too. Alright, end of episode 1. Jeez Louise. I feel like if I go to episode 2, it's going to be very long. So I think we will save it there. And yeah, I think we'll give it a save there, and we will we'll pick it up next time, whenever that is. I'm not going to do daily streams anymore. I don't think my voice can take it, but we'll do that for now, and we'll leave it off there. But thank you so much for joining me. And remember, go check out Andromeda 6 on itch.io. And thank you again so much. So we will leave it off there. But yes, thank you again, and goodbye.